Welcome everybody to another episode of the Will and Rock Podcast. Talk to me.
So last week we did the shots. I took the L, should I say?
I took the W, son.
I've won two, right? Since we started this podcast doing this, I've won two. UFC 219, which was the last week's. You won. Congratulations.
I'm so traumatized from the second one that I remember the first one. I shit you not.
But now we're gonna get into UFC Fight Night 124. That is Choi versus Jeremy. But we're gonna do the decisions again. We're gonna do the predictions, should I say? And next week is the shots. All right. So you ready? The first fight to start off the card is gonna be Kamaru Usman versus Emil Meek. This is gonna be a slug bomber. Who you have somebody in mind?
I got already a fighter. I got Meek winning this fight.
Oh, good. Somebody's taking a shot. I have Usman. I think Usman is gonna take it with the big KO. Two big men. They're gonna get in the middle of the ring, and somebody's getting knocked out.
Meek put up a good performance last fight, so I'm going based off his last fight.
And so am I with Usman. So.
Yeah. There you go, son.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that's who starts off the card. I have Usman. You have Meek. The second fight in that card is Paige Van Zandt. She's back. She's fighting Jessica Rose Clark. I don't know too much about Jessica Rose Clark.
Same here.
I could tell you that Paige Van Zandt should have gotten more competition like this, because the minute she steps up a little bit off her
learning curve,
she's not going to be able to make it to the title. But with that being said, I think this is a great fight to come back. You know, she took a big loss last time.
Who you got for this fight, Willie?
I got Paige Van Zandt.
All right. You got Van Zandt. I got the other girl just to contradict you.
That's what's up.
Even though I think this, like you mentioned, this is definitely a fight Van Zandt should be taken, because she doesn't show any life when she gets put against real competition. Well, that's the huge disrespect. But Van Zandt is a legit fighter.
Yeah,
she's a legit fighter.
Really
she just had, you know what, I would rephrase that. She just had really bad outcomes when she got put in the major limelight. So it's interesting to see her come back and what she's going to be able to do. I'm going against her just because I really want to go against you, to be quite honest with you. Not that I don't want her to win.
All right, cool. So I have Paige Van Zandt. You have Jessica Rose Clark. Going for that fight. So somebody's taking two shots for sure. Oh no, at least one. Anyways, the next one is Uriah Hall versus Vitor Belfort. I want Vitor Belfort to stop so bad, but he wants to continue fighting. He has earned the rights to continue fighting. He's one of the guys that is a pioneer for this sport. With that being said, he's getting too old. They're not allowing him to take this testosterone that he was taking before. His performance have been just, it just hasn't been the same. I don't see Vitor Belfort beating a guy like Uriah Hall, who's a little younger, a little pep to his step, and tremendous stand-up fighter. I see Uriah Hall winning this fight.
I'm not gonna go against you on this one, man.
Come on.
No, hell fucking no. I should have gone first. I should have picked first, actually, now that I think about it. But I do have Uriah, and for the same reasons. I think Vitor Belfort, it's unfortunately way past his prime at this point. I think this is his last fight in his contract.
Yeah.
And I see him. If he wants to continue fighting, he'll be great for Bellator. I think he'll be great for Bellator. They could give him a good fighter up in his division. But in the UFC, even if he beats Uriah Hall, even if it does, I just don't see his career going far in the UFC anymore. Reasons why I'm picking Uriah Hall, and if you really think about it, that weight class is retarded for you not to pick Uriah Hall.
Yeah.
So that's that.
So you have Uriah Hall.
I got Uriah Hall too. I'm not going to go against you on this one.
Okay, cool. And then the last but not least is it's gonna be a fucking fiasco. Jeremy Stephens versus Dong Chung Choi.
Shit, I am torn between this one, and you're not picking first.
But just to let you know, I'm also torn. They're both stand-up fighters. The question is who's gonna catch who first, or who's gonna take more punishment?
Okay, so the thing about this is that Jeremy Stephens he's so on and off. He is so on. He's one of the few fighters. Well, by the way, he's taking a ton of fights and he's taking them fast. I give the guy hats off to him, and he's such an entertaining fighter.
Yeah,
I love watching Jeremy Stephens, but he's gone back and forth in that winning column that is hard for me to like really think that he would beat Choi. Even though he just came off a big victory, I'm going Jeremy Stephens on this fight. You're going with Jeremy Stephens on this fight.
You know what?
Tough right hand.
Yeah. They both have knockout potential. They could knock anybody out in that division. I believe that the first person to throw the best right hand can knock somebody out, or they could withstand each other's power and it goes to decision. Just to contradict what you're saying, I'm going for my man Choi. I hope we get a Korean out of all things, out of all countries, to not only win but beat a guy like Jeremy Stephens, which puts him up, a little bit. And he's been doing great. He lost his last fight versus Cub Swanson, but he put out a tremendous fight. It was one of the best fights of the year. But I do believe Choi has the upper hand, and I hope he wins because I don't want to take a shot.
No, but I would say Choi. The reason why I'm going for Jeremy Stephens, but I really wanted to point that out. I think it's great that you called out the fact that he's a Korean fighter, because he wants to bring MMA back into Korea. He really wants for people to start thinking about the Koreans as great MMA fighters. So if you think about it, if Choi does win, he opens up the doors for a lot of young talent to come out of there. And the UFC needs anything at this point to like really get the Asian market back into it. When for a while they ruled it for a bit,
That's a very good point. But that's the end of that card. Out of all of them, we had different people. We picked different people.
Was it three fights?
It's four fights, and out of the 4 fights, 3 we picked the same. The only one that we didn't was the Uriah Hall versus Peter Bradford.
No, you mean we picked separate? The only fight that we actually picked the same fighter was the Uriah Hall fight.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about news. Really briefly, we have John McCarthy, who is actually he's retiring from refereeing to do the commentating for Bellator.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
So Bellator just signed him. He ended up retiring as a ref. The best ref there is. It's hard. It's so hard for me to watch other refs besides him.
And Herb Dean.
Herb Dean has done a phenomenal job, but there's been some questionable things Herb Dean's done as of late that I've questioned. But I'm crossing my fingers. Well, no, I'm crossing my fingers that hopefully he laid a certain base under the refs' eyes that they could start predicting and doing a better job with the fights. But it's great for McCarthy, man. He's an ambassador in the MMA world as well in his own right. Yeah, so for the fact that Bellator took him in and he signed a big contract with them to do commentating, and he's a good commentator.
With that being said, so Paramount buys out Spike. It's now going to be called Paramount. Because of that, Bellator is going to be hosting these fights under Paramount. So they had, I guess, a new contract. So because of that, they couldn't fulfill Jimmy Smith's contract, who, as we know, has been there since day one for Bellator, and one of the best commentators besides Joe Rogan, personally, I think.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. And he's similar to Rogan. He comes in with sometimes he comes in with the button up. He's bold as well.
Yeah, and they're both tremendous.
He goes as far as Strikeforce. He did it for Strikeforce as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But my point is that they couldn't fulfill Jimmy Smith's contract, so John McCarthy's taking over his position, and now Jimmy Smith doesn't have an actual home just yet. But rumors are, and most likely it is, 100%, Jimmy Smith will be signing with the UFC. I don't know if they could have Joe Rogan and him commentating the same fights, because we're talking about two analytical fighters.
They're very intense type of announcers, so it's going to be tough. Commentators, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough to hearing them at the same time, even though it will be great for TV.
Yeah.
I think it's better if they break them off and have Jimmy Smith do the more international scene,
right,
and keep Rogan in his local scenes.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And we also have to understand that Joe Rogan's contract also expires coming August, so it's a possibility that he might not be doing that.
Rogan leave that? That's so brutal, bro.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's so willing, he's totally okay with it. He's totally okay with walking away from all this. because he prefers to stay home and freaking watch it with his friends and drink beer and shit. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of depressing, but I'm gonna watch both of them regardless.
Yeah, well,
I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, we need to watch the UFC regardless.
Right.
We got a podcast to maintain this.
So, but also, last but not least, Ozdemir, he pleads not guilty, which means that he's free to fight for UFC 220 versus Donald Cormier, which is something to look forward to.
Volkan.
Yeah.
Freaking guy's name sounds scary, bro.
Word.
He put a tweet out too. He put a small video out talking about he wants to train with McGregor, and he praised McGregor. So a lot of these Russian fighters, they want to go into Ireland to train. You know, like the Hammer. I mean, the Hammer was with him from the beginning for McGregor. So he actually loves Russia. McGregor loves Russia, and he would love to fight in Russia. He had mentioned that.
Yeah.
But anyways, long story short, Volkan wanted to train with McGregor.
Yep. So that's a wrap. We're wrapping this one up. We will see you guys next week with the results of this Jeremy Stephens versus Don Choi UFC Fight Night 124.
Cross your fingers for me. I don't want to take shots.
We'll see you next week, guys. Peace.
Peace, guys.